Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Shutters and Speed. Today we're heading off on a trip. It's the first in a series of trips that I've mentioned in previous videos, whereby I'm going to be following a Ride magazine recommended route. So, as we say here in Norfolk, let's run them their titles, boy! Welcome back to Shutters and Speed, and today you're joining me as I make my way down the A10 from my home in Downham Market, and I shall be heading off on a Ride recommended route. That is the Ride magazine. They have these routes which you can download as GPX files, this is going to be the first of a series of videos, I hope, in combination with the Ottocast C5 Lite system I have installed on the bike here, using the Scenic satellite navigation app, which is specific for motorcycles. Now, as we make our way down the A10 here, I thought what we would do is just head off back to the studio very briefly, so we can have a look at the route and see where we're going today.
Yeah, so here we are at Shutters HQ, and welcome to that very location, as it were. And let's have a look at the Scenic app on the desktop here, and we'll take a look at the route we're going to follow today and show you how we're going to go about today's ride. So here we are in the old Apple desktop. I'm going to open up the Scenic app like this. We get the familiar revving sound from the Scenic app, and then we're going to just make it go full screen. Now here we are in the Scenic app desktop, and I'm going to go up to this this top left-hand button here to the menu. I'm going to click on routes, and I'm looking for the United Kingdom to Reedham Ferry Inn. This is a route that comes from the Ride magazine. Those of you that read Ride magazine will be familiar, but Ride magazine, for those that don't, they make a lot of their rides available to us as GPX files, and as I mentioned earlier in another video, I found that the GPX files are relatively easy to import, well, not relatively, very easy to import into the Scenic app, as opposed to the TomTom system that I was using before. So let's open up this this route and have a look and see where we're gonna go. So as you can see here, the route is in the green and various other colours. I think it denotes the level of traffic on those particular areas of the route, and as you can see, this is the route we're going to take. Now if I just zoom in a little closer, you'll be able to see that the route actually starts at just outside Littleport, which is just down the road from me here in Downham Market. So I shall be taking the route down the A10, which is where you've probably where I probably am right now, and I'm making my way down the A10 here. Now this, interestingly, the Scenic app will actually take you to the start of the ride route, which is, you know, obviously very useful. So I shall start here in Downham Market and make my way down to the outskirts of Littleport, and then we shall start the route as Ride intended. And we'll make our way, if I just zoom out on the map here, we shall make our way to various points along the route, of course. Some of these parts of the route I've covered in previous videos, so I shan't be recording much of that. But once we get round, get across the fens here, and then we'll be going up around the outside of Thetford, as it were, and then we'll be making our way down into Suffolk. Now this is where the real ride starts for me, but there are also one or two interesting points along the fens that I'm probably pointing out to you as we go along. But basically we're going to go from Thetford down towards Stowmarket, or in that area, and around this area here. Now for some reason we're going to be going down the A14 then back again. Why that is I'm not sure, but I'm sure that will become evident on the road. And then we'll make our way along here towards Saxmundham, and then the seaside town of Aldborough, up to Thorpe Ness, which is not, you can't quite see on here, but believe you me, if I zoom in we might be able to see Thorpe Ness. Let's have a look. Yes, So if you can see there, I hope that we go from Aldborough to Thorpe Ness, and then we make our way slightly inland through Leiston up towards towards Norfolk again, and we shall end up here at Reedham Ferry, at the Reedham Ferry complex, where they have a chain operated ferry. So that's the route we're going to take. So let's get back on the road and see how we progress.
Yeah, so here we are back on the A10. We're now approaching Brandon Creek Bridge, which is a bit of a crossroads for rivers. There's the River Lark and the River Ouse. I'm not quite sure exactly how they route here, but I hope you can see, maybe the camera's picking it up. This is a very popular area for the boating community. And we're now coming on to a section of the A10 which is quite interesting as the A10 goes. It's sort of a little bendy, and it runs alongside the River Ouse here. So we're heading out now towards the outskirts of Littleport, and what I didn't mention in the studio is that my sat-nav system here is telling me that we've actually got 143 miles before we get to Reedham Ferry, and at current rate of progress we are scheduled to arrive at around it says 12:17, but I should imagine it'll be a bit later than that, because we'll be probably making 1 or 2 stops along the way. So we're out and enjoying a ride, so hopefully that'll all be very convivial. Now the Ottocast C5 system here is being used really in anger for the first time, and it has to be said that I have had 1 or 2 problems with it. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes today after I've made 1 or 2 subtle modifications. What I've found is that the unit has sometimes decided to cut out for no apparent reason. So there's a little screw thing on the back which I've found that maybe will help keep it in contact, but I've also had 1 or 2 problems with my battery. So I've got a fully charged battery on board. So hopefully the combination of that will help, and also my mobile phone, whilst being contained in this Jivvy tank bag but loosely in the top, I've now inserted it in the section above here, so that hopefully it's nice and close to the unit and maintains a good contact. Now all those issues, I hope, will make the unit more reliable, because at the end of the day, if you can't rely on the thing, I mean, especially if you're sort of up in the middle of nowhere in Scotland, for example, you're going to want that to be reliable and not do that. So this is a bit of a trial to make sure that everything is hunky-dory. So we'll see how we go. Yeah, so we're sort of cruising along this section of the A10, and we'll be making our way along the route as described. Yeah, one of the great things about this type of system is that there are 1 or 2 roads that are familiar, as I mentioned in the studio, that are pretty familiar to regular viewers, I think. So we won't be covering that too much, but that doesn't mean to say that I won't be enjoying that part of the journey. But there is 1 or 2 interesting points as we're sort of making our way now into the Fenland area, and we're going to be crossing the sort of Norfolk/Cambridgeshire Fens as we head over towards Brandon and Thetford. So we'll see how that all pans out. Well, we're now heading along the A1101 towards Mildenhall, and interestingly enough, the sat-nav system has just said that I've reached the start of the ride route. So that's a good omen, I think. That's a good omen for the day, and hopefully we will get on quite nicely. Right, well, I'm going to just turn the cameras off for a minute or 2. We're making our way along this bumpy Fenland road, and we'll rejoin when we come across something of interest along the way. Well, having just made our way across the fens on some quite technical roads, we're just making our way out of the very pretty village of Stratton Down in the middle of Thetford Forest. I know this is in the middle of Thetford Forest and we've covered this area before, but I've never been down here. and it's all very, very pleasant, it has to be said. Nice little church there, I hope you can see. And we're sort of coming through a very attractive area of the Thetford Forest region, if you like, that I've never been down before. I might have been in a car but not on a motorbike, but I have to say the route so far has been very good. The section across, which I didn't have the cameras on obviously, but in some respects I wish I had, because it wasn't quite what I was expecting, and the route across the fens was across some quite technical roads, you know, quite bendy, very sharp bends, and it was probably a good idea I didn't have the camera on, because they did demand my total concentration, which was good. So far so good. The ride has proven to be very interesting. The system was holding up very well so far, we'll carry on a bit further. But I just thought you'd like a brief glimpse of this area of the forest, especially as we came out of that very pretty village of Stratton Down. And the system is saying that we've now got 117 miles to go, and the arrival time has come down slightly to 12:15. So yeah, everything is going quite nicely at the moment. The weather's good. I'm recording this in late June, and as we probably know, June has been quite warm at times, but I've chosen a cool day to come out and do this ride, and it is proving to be very pleasant. You know, the sun keeps peeping in and out of the clouds, but yeah, it's been very good indeed. Yeah, so that was a very worthwhile excursion, and now we're back on the main road, as it were, towards Thetford. So you'll rejoin me a little bit later along the route. So you rejoin me here with everything is still running very reliably, it has to be said. From a sat-nav point of view, no problems so far. And we've made our way through the village of Ixworth, and we're sort of right in the middle of the Suffolk countryside here now on the 1088 heading towards Ipswich. This is we're in deeper Suffolk now, I think, and we're starting to really see some new roads from a shutters and speed video channel point of view, let's say. So let's hope we enjoy the ride. I thought we'll keep the camera running for a little while through here and see how we get on. As ever, I have travelled these roads quite regularly in my car as part of my job as a wedding photographer. It brings me out this way quite a lot, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoy coming this way, simply because of the drive here, really. This is a very interesting section of road that I take, and there's some lovely villages along the way, so we'll just cruise on through. Yeah, the one thing that is probably maybe a little frustrating, I guess, if you're out for a fast ride, is that there are quite a lot of 30-mile-an-hour speed limits along this road, but that doesn't bother me unduly, I have to say. As ever, it's quite nice to just take in the views. And on this lovely cool June day, it has been so far very good indeed. And also this ride original route is proven to be very interesting too. You know, even for a local area, for me, I've already negotiated some roads that I've never been on a bike before, and probably wouldn't have done if it hadn't been for this system. So that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Hello, sir. Interesting to see at least a couple of motorcyclists out enjoying this cool motorcycling weather. Haven't been out very far of late. Been out for one or two short rides to regular haunts, but this is the first sort of real longish day I've had in the saddle this year, and I'm glad I've chosen this cool day to do it. Yes, so we're coming out of this speed limit now. Then we're going into a 40 and hopefully a little bit quicker after that. So check of the mirrors and up to 40. Doesn't take long on this thing. National speed limit coming up. So we'll have another quick check of the mirrors, over the rumble strips, and away we go. Interesting little railway bridge coming up here. As we approach, you'll hopefully see on the camera the staircase that pedestrians have to take to negotiate this. I hope you can see that there. Yeah, that's like a footpath, and I think you have to go up and over. It's supposed to be safer, I think, than trying to walk under the bridge, but it's quite a climb up there.